Welcome to Late Night Gaming. I'm Poem. I'm with some of my pals here. I've got Rufus McDoofus and Kirjon, and this is off meta. And Kirjon has made it here because of his success with Kit Fisto. And so this is the off meta series where we feature uh, players and who have taken rogue decks to top eights and solid finishes. So if you're interested in hearing more about Kirjon's run and his deck, then definitely tune in here. And here we go. Again, welcome to Late Night Gaming, Kirjon.
Welcome, thanks. Happy to be here. Haven't been interviewed before, so this is all new for me. But no, happy to be here.
Sweet. Rufus, you want to start
So,
firing away?
yeah. So tell us a little bit about your Kit Fisto deck.
Yeah, so I'm always been a bit of an off-meta player. I prefer to take off-meta decks. So yeah, I was just coming up to the PQs, checking around, searching around for what to play. When they announced the PQ dates, we weren't expecting ours to be one of the very first for the set. We were all expecting, towards the end of the set, like all of our other PQs had been. So yeah, I had to find a deck real quick. We were sort of waiting to see what came out of Galactics. And yeah, I was expecting a good mix of aggro and mid-range, especially in Brisbane, which is my local meta. There's like a handful of people that consistently play control, and everyone else plays aggro and mid-range. So I wanted something that had an alright matchup into control if it came to that, but a good matchup into aggro and mid-range. So yeah, I tested a few decks. I was on Barris Blue at the very beginning of the set, once all the cards were released, but eventually settled on this. I found this deck, came across this deck about a week and a half ago. A week and a half before the PQ. Started testing it out and thought, yep, this is working really well. Kit's ability is really, really good. His flip side's a bit underwhelming, but yeah, his ability is really good for cleaning up the board. So yeah, tested it out, went well, and made it to top 4 on the day.
Good job. Nailed it.
Thanks.
So tell us a little bit about the deck's general game plan.
Yep. So obviously, Kit's ability, pay 1, deal 2 damage to a unit once you've attacked with a Jedi. Best thing about it is you've basically got a Daring Raid that you're drawing every turn from your deck. It's almost like, sort of pseudo drawing a third card every turn. As long as you can attack, you've got a Daring Raid. So obviously, like, cheap Jedi, the way to go early on. General game plan, turn 1, throw down a Jedi. Turn 2, generally you either want to be swinging, pinging, and playing a second 2-drop, or you want to throw down a Maz, attack with your, hopefully, Force unit, and clear their turn 1 play. If they didn't have one or anything, just go to base, obviously. Hu Yang's probably the worst turn 2 play, just because it opens yourself up to him being removed, or your turn 1 play being removed before you get to swing. So yeah, generally you want to go 2-drop into a 2-drop plus a ping, and then from there you've got Ki-Adi-Mundi the following turn to draw 2, or you've got a ping and a red 5. If you can land a red 5 with Kit, you will absolutely crush the board. Red 5 comboed with Kit's ping is so strong. You'll clean up so many units with it. Another line, obviously, is turn 2, throw a General's Blade on whatever your turn 1 play was. Obviously, don't do that into like blue villain and get powered, but when it works, it's really hard to come back from that. You'll go turn 2, have a Jedi, put a blade on it, swing, play another 2-drop. Turn 3, you're then swinging. You're at 4 resources plus the 2 discount from the blade, so now you can throw down a Mace Windu if you want to. Mace Windu on turn 3 is just brutal. It's really hard to come back from that. Or you can do Ki-Adi-Mundi for 2. That leaves you 1 resource for another Kit ping, or a Kit ping plus a Force throw even. So yeah, the General's Blade opens up a lot of options for you going into turn 3, particularly with Kit's ability. Like anytime you can get a resource discount, whether it's from the Blade or the Consular, you can play on curve and ping, or you just start throwing out big units really early, like Kelleron on turn 4 when you get 5 resources. Crazy strong. Sindralig or Yoda on turn 5 when you get 6 resources. Again, it's so hard for decks to come back from that. So that's sort of the general game plan. Obviously, matchup dependent on what you draw and what your opponent's doing, etc. The Yoda's lightsabers are there for the aggro matchup. Like I said, Brisbane is very heavily aggro centered. So the healing from the Yoda's lightsabers just lets you stabilize. It was really good in my round 2 match against Kylo Tarkentown. Kylo won, the turn 3 4 deploy leader. Yeah, the healing from that was just clutch to get through that matchup. Obviously, healing from Big Yoda is wild once you get it. Yeah, no, that's sort of the general game plan. Sorry?
I noticed the deck has like a pretty strong top end. Like it's not like light in the pants. Like it's got some meat on the bone there.
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, General's Blade and Consular, getting that big stuff out cheaper is really good. Against Control specifically, Sindralig is amazing. What you generally want to do against Control, build a big board, get them to Super Laser Blast, drop a Sindralig ready with a lightsaber, hit him for 8. It's so hard for him to come back from that. They've got 3 Super Laser Blasts. You've got 3 Kellerons, 2 Sins, 2 Yodas, 2 U-Wings. Like, you've got big units. Yoda's obviously not building a huge board in his own, but even between Kelleron, U-Wing, and Sindralig, that's 5, 7 options to their 3 Super Laser Blasts. So you just hold those all game, wait for them to drop a Super Laser Blast, you drop one of the 7 options, and eventually you should be able to outvalue them. Obviously, it's not an easy matchup by any means. You still got to play well, but yeah, there's a lot of options here on the top end. And yeah, like I said, getting the discount with the Blade or the Consular, if you can get even one of your big units out early, it's almost always game over. Like, what do you do against a turn 4 Keller and Beck that's, a 7/7 bringing out an Obi-Wan, for example? There's big top end.
Seems fun.
So let's hear a little bit about your sideboard and what you're bringing in for different matchups.
Yeah, so Sideboard is bombing run, obviously, for the space aggro decks, particularly Vader. Same with the grenade strikes. Chewie's just there as another anti-control option, and if you need to suit up one of your turn 1 Jedi ships, obviously you got the Anakins in the main and 2 of the Jedi Interceptors in the side. Bring those in against any space aggro. Same with the Kit Fisto's Aether Sprite. That's there for any pilot leaders or Kylo, the new Kylo. Didn't end up playing against any new Kylo, but I did play against a couple of pilot decks. The Kit Fisto Aether Sprites were really good all day. Third Yoda lightsabers there for the aggro matchup. Again, you just want more healing. I think I used all of my sideboard cards at least once on the day, except for Grenade Strike. I just didn't come up against any pilot Vaders, so I didn't need to use that. But everything else I brought in, and it was all good at various points throughout the day.
You touched on this a little bit earlier, but tell us about what inspired you to pick this for this particular PQ.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I've always been off meta, always looking for the next off meta deck to play. At the first Brisbane PQ back in set 3, I made top 8 with Quinlan Blue, when everyone was on Quinlan Tarkentown at the time. I won a showdown with Nala Say. I took Admiral Trench to a top 4 at another showdown, etc. So yeah, I'm always looking for off meta stuff. I did pull the showcase for Kit, so that sort of wasn't obviously the main deciding factor, but definitely contributed to it. but also just the fact that with all of the FFG streams that they were doing, Danny Schaefer, obviously the lead designer, he was really high on Kit Fisto, Kit Fisto Blue especially. So I did try out Kit Blue for a little bit. I thought there was something there, but I think Yoda and Han just do the blue-red hero thing better. And then, I came across SWUDB on YouTube, had a couple of webcam gameplay videos with Kit Green, going over sort of his plays, etc. I thought it looked pretty interesting. I made a couple of changes from his list. But I tried it out. I was having a lot of success with it. Swapped around, he had 3 Hu Yangs and 2 Maz. I swapped that around. Maz was just amazing in testing. Force Lieutenant just trades up into everything, which is really nice. But mostly just I've always been off-meta fan, always looking for the next good off-meta thing, always testing new stuff. That was sort of what led me to Kit. And like I said, Brisbane specifically is very aggro and mid-range heavy, and Kit's ping just lets you deal with that so well. Like I said, Red 5 with Kit's ping, just you control the board so much better than other mid-range decks, other aggro decks. So that's sort of how I landed on this. And Luminous Beings as well is probably the most out there card in the deck. That just lets you close really well against aggro and mid-range. If you and your opponent sort of racing each other, you throw that down, suddenly you've got 4 to 12 extra damage on the board that they don't. And that just gets you so far ahead in the race.
How often did you play that, and how often did your opponent have to read that card?
I'm reading it right now.
So I'm assuming like anyone who likes playing off meta decks, there's no better feeling than like playing a card and your opponent picks it up and reads it. You're like, yep, you have no idea what this is doing. I did play Luminous Beings a few times. Every single time they had to pick it up and look at it and go, what the hell is this? What is happening right now? I'd managed to win. I was on stream twice on the day, once against Rachel on her Rex deck, and then once again in top 4. And against Rachel, I think it was game 1. I managed to close out game 1 with Luminous Beings. Threw that down. I suddenly had a Kelleran that was swinging for 11, and I had 2 other units with +4, and that was just way too much damage to deal with. I did play it a couple of times just in my other games, and every time it was brutal. It either finished the game or got me close to finishing the game that turn. But love Luminous Beings.
Wow, that's an interesting card. I mean, the potential for that is massive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like +4/+4 is huge. Even if you only get it on like 2 units, that's still 8 extra damage to their base that they weren't expecting. It's crazy.
It's a hard thing to prepare for, an extra 8. Or 12.
And no one's expecting it, right? Like people aren't expecting Kit Green to begin with, and then you throw down Luminous Beings and like, what is going on right now? And suddenly your Ki-Adi-Mundi's an 8/8, or your Kit Fisto the Aces Sprite's coming in as an 8/9. It's a lot of damage.
I mean, this card is like the reason why we do this series. It's like it's like this is the kind of stuff we like to see, man. So
thank and the Syndralig. Dropping the Syndralig after a Super Laser Blast is just the most satisfying thing you'll ever do.
I actually opened 2 Syndraligs in one of my pre-releases, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, he's good.
He was a lot better than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, like he doesn't read well. You're like, why would I ever pay 8 for a 5/6 that I also have to have another card in hand for? Like, but when like I said, when control taps out for a Super Laser Blast and you follow up with that, hit him for 8, like it's great. And even just like against mid-ranging aggro, like if you're racing, suddenly you drop a Syndralig, you got 8 damage ready on board, plus potentially a 3 heal off Yoda, off the Yoda lightsaber. It's a lot.
So walk us through your matchups from the PQ.
Yep. So round 1, I came up against Chancellor Palpatine Blue. This was against one of the guys that I playtest with. So shout out to Crystalline and Josh for helping me test out the deck. But yeah, I came up against Josh round 1 on Chancellor Blue. It was on a Force version, and I managed to go 2-0 against that. Again, yeah, Super Laser Blast, followed up with Sin, finished out one of the games, and another one I was just able to get too far ahead on board. He wasn't seeing the cards he needed game 2 to flip when he needed to. And yeah, a couple of 4-sorrows, emptied his hand, and I was able to just close it out. So yeah, I went 2-0 on that. Round 2 was against the Kylo Ren Tarkintown. Kylo won, so that was just ultra hard aggro. He was going Fallen Lightsaber, Battle Fury, Strike Ships, just all the aggro stuff. So I took that one down 2-1. Again, Yoda's lightsaber was absolutely clutch in that. Like the 3 heal off that let me stabilize enough. I think in one of the games I managed to get out the big Yoda once, and the 5 heal from that sealed the deal. I did bring in the Kit Fistos for that one just to get rid of the Fallen Lightsabers and the Battle Furies, which worked well. And yeah, managed to close that one out. But yeah, that was definitely dicey. Like, sure you guys are aware, Kylo 1 Tarkintown is a very fast deck, especially with the new tools it got this set. Round 3, I was on stream against Rachel on the Captain Rex deck. So I managed to take out game 1 with Luminous Beings. Game 2, she got me. I made a massive misplay in game 2. I think I had a Gunji or an Adigalia from memory with a General's Blade and I think a second lightsaber on it. So I'd swung for 8, put her on 8 damage. Then it was the Unity turn. So she played Unity. She had Rex, the 2 droids, the clone, and I think something else. I had 2 damage on base, and she had exactly 28 damage on board. So she had lethal. And I was trying to figure it out. I thought, okay, well, I've got my big unit with 2 lightsabers on it. Swings for 8. I've also got a red 5, and I've also got a Jedi Consular on board. I thought to myself, okay, I can swing with the Consular, Kit ping, red 5, attack, and ping, and then Kit deploy and attack to kill something. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, she's got exact lethal with every unit on the board. I can kill 1. I'll swing for 8 to the base with my Gunji with the 2 lightsabers, or the Addy. That puts her on 16. She's on droid manufactory, so she's only got 8 health left. So then I'm lethal next turn with 1 attack. So I spent ages calculating that, doing all the math in my head. I was like, sweet, let's do this. Completely forgot, made the biggest, most basic misplay of my life, and I realized as soon as I had to hit her base for 8, I realized as soon as I damage any one of her units, she'll just attack with that unit. Just the biggest blunder. So of course, yeah, I ran the Consular into one event. She just swung with the damage one. I was like, yep, you got me. There's nothing I can do here. I completely misplayed and should have taken out one of the units with mine. And then game 3, I got really lucky. She went to the Unity turn, played Unity, again, had Rex and the clones, etc. I had 2 Obi-Wans in hand. So she was on 6 resources. I was on 5. She ramped. I did have a General's Blade on one of my units and a Jedi Consular. So I went Consular, use the Force, play Obi-Wan for 1, leaving me with 4 resources. She swung a unit into Obi-Wan, obviously he's Sentinel, cleared that off. I swung with my unit that had General's Blade on it. I was able to then play my second Obi-Wan for 1, so now I'm down to 3 resources. I was then able to, it was either a Kit ping or a Force throw, and then I was able to play Yoda's lightsaber with my 2 remaining resources for the heal. And that was enough to get me there. She played her own Obi-Wan the next turn because I managed to survive the Unity turn. She didn't have a second Unity. She threw down Obi-Wan. I swung to base with Kit because Kit's got Saboteur. and then it was lethal next turn with Kit again, because I think Kit was swinging for 8 with the Yoda's lightsaber plus the buff from the other Jedi. That's another thing with this deck. Everyone forgets Kit has Saboteur. It's so good. I cannot tell you how many times people have played Sentinels against me, and I just hit base, and they're like, "Wait, what?" Yeah, everyone forgets Kit has Saboteur. It's amazing. So that was round 3. Round 4, I played against the eventual winner, Jason. He was on Quinlan Tarkentown. It's just a really bad matchup. Quinlan Tarkentown, like, they can clear your turn 1 unit. Obviously, you pass, get them to play, and then you play. But in one of our games, Jason went Ahsoka, made me discard, and then followed it up with 2 force throws, and I had no hand, and there was just no way for me to catch up from there. So he won. He took that one down 2-0. Round 5, I played against Boba Datavolt. Kit Fisto's Aether Sprite was clutch in this one, just to kill Boba once he piloted something. Mace Windu plus a Kit ping took out Devastator. And then I was just able to flood the board, got Yoda out, and Yoda healing got me there. So I took that one down 2-0. Round 6, I matched up with Vader Yellow, but we were able to ID that round. So I was the 3rd seed going into Top Cut. Top 8, I played against Kaz Tarkentown. This was a match I hadn't play tested against at all. I wasn't expecting to see Kaz Tarkentown specifically, but I managed to take this one down 2-1. Game 1, I was really lucky to see my Singleton Aether Sprite in my opening hand, so I just held that, played that, killed Kaz. That took out another 1 or 2 units. Kit Ping dealt with the 2 health units where they play the ETA 2, I think, and the Wolfpack Escort. Game 2, he got me to 20 and then hit me with a trench run on a ship with Han pilot on it for exactly 8, which was exactly lethal. And then game 3, he accidentally resourced a Sanctioner's shuttle when he didn't mean to. But then I also just had a bunch of space units. I saw my Aether Sprites, got my Yoda's lightsabers via healing, and then I was just able to take it from there. And the final round, top 4 match, was once again against Jason on Quinlan Tarkentown. Game 1, he hit me with 3 force throws and a spark, so I was down 4 cards in hand. There was just nothing I could do against that. Game 2, I went turn 1 unit, turn 2 General's Blade, swung with the blade. He played a red 5, and then I played an Anakin's Interceptor with the blade discount. That was a huge misplay. I should have claimed, swung with the General's Blade again, because he took initiative, swung with his red 5 into my Anakin's and killed my General's Bladed unit with the on attack from red 5. So that was a huge misplay on my part. And then he was able to throw down Kira. I only had Ki-Adi-Mundi in my hand, so I couldn't play Ki-Adi-Mundi. I had no other units. I think I had like a Force Throw and a Sorcerer's Blast in hand. And then after that, he just threw down Ahsoka, Plo. Like, obviously you want to try and clear the board so they don't Plo you on the flip turn. But yeah, I had no units going into turn 3. He had 2 units on board and the Kira to prevent me playing Ki-Adi-Mundi, so there was no way I was coming back from that. So yeah, big misplay on my part. But yeah, even then, Quinlan Tarkentown is just not a good matchup. Obviously, playing Kit, you've got 3 force throws. Quinlan Tarkentown has 3 force throws plus 3 Ahsokas plus however many sparks they want to run. So they've got way more discard than you. So yeah, that's a tough matchup. You really want to keep them off the 3 units, obviously, for Plo on the flip turn. And yeah, I just massively misplayed turn 2. When I should have claimed. So yeah, Jason took it down. And then obviously Jason went on to win the entire PQ. He took down Thrawn Yellow in the grand final. So yeah, that was the day. So yeah, obviously outside of Quinlan, that was my only loss all day. I took down every other round that we played. So yeah, no, the deck worked really well. Yeah, the Yoda's lightsabers were a great call. I obviously played against a bunch of aggro mid-range. Only saw one sort of control deck in round 1 with the Chancellor Palpatine. And yeah, between Keller and Ewing and Sin, there was no way you could keep up. So yeah, I took that one down.
I think you're either like the smartest person I've ever met, or you wrote down everything that happened like right after the game. That was like the most detailed like tournament recap I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, just let him keep going. He's got this. Boom.
Yeah.
So,
no, I thought about it a lot on the day. I was like, yeah, this is what the game plan is, and yeah, just took it down. Obviously, I was on stream for the twice, which helps. But yeah, no, it was a good deck. Good deck, ran well. It was a good day.
Do you have any MVP you'd like to call out?
Yeah. So yeah, just obviously shout out to Chrislyn and Josh for helping us playtest. Shout out to Vault Games for running the PQ, ran a good event. The prize wall there was awesome. Big shout out to Rachel on the Captain Rex deck. She only started playing the game last set.
Oh, we interviewed her.
She's coming. I heard that. Yeah, no, she was definitely the people's champion on the day. Coming in as a new player, made top 8 with Captain Rex. She pulled a Hyperspace Anakin from one of her prize packs, and then she won the Lucky Door prize, which was the Synchronized Strike playmat that one of our last PQ winner, he went to Galactics and brought it back as a prize for us. So she picked that up. So yeah, she cleaned up that day. It was really good to see.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So other than Quinlan, are there any decks that this deck struggles with?
I don't think I had particular trouble, even with playtesting. Like, obviously, it didn't have like a 100% win rate or anything like that. But I think it's got game into most things. Like I said, against aggro, you've got the Yodas, Obi-Wan, Maz helps you trade up. Red 5 lets you keep control of the board. Against control, you've got Keller and Ewing and Sin against 3 super lasers. So unless they're running Bounty Hunter crew to get back more super lasers, you'll eventually just outvalue them. If you are expecting more control, you could obviously bring in home ones as well. I wasn't expecting to play against that much control, so I didn't bring them in, but definitely an option if you want just more redundancy against control. But yeah, I don't think it's got any particularly bad matchups. I think it's got at least a decent matchup into most things. Obviously, I didn't play test against every single deck out there, but yeah, I don't think I would go into any matchup thinking I have an absolutely terrible matchup, except for Quinlan, just with the huge discard package they run. It's a bit much.
If you would run this deck again, are there any changes you would make?
I think on the day, probably not. Yeah, like I said, my only losses on the day were the Quinlan. I don't think there's anything I could have done deck-wise to counter that. I definitely could have played better against the Quinlan for sure, but I don't think there was anything in the deck that was a downside. Obviously, you've got like Keller and Ewing, Sin and Yoda. You can force throw them at Quinlan, which I didn't get to do, unfortunately. But yeah, that's definitely like a game plan. I did that quite a lot in testing as well, just against other people. If someone goes like turn 2 General's Blade against me, I'll just like force throw Keller and or Ewing at them and then finish it off with a kit ping, and then they're so far behind. But yeah, no, I don't think there's anything in particular I would change for the deck on the day. In general, though, I would like a more generic option to play off the Consular that doesn't use the Force. Obviously, using the Consular to play Mace or Yoda early, you lose a lot of their value because you've obviously just used the Force and you don't have it for their entry effects. It's obviously fine with like Kelleran and Sin because they don't need the Force. But I'd probably bring in Pose somewhere just as a generic option to get out cheaper. If you can get a turn 3 or even a turn 2 Po off a Conceal, I don't think. Oh, actually, no, it wouldn't be turn 2. It'd be turn 3 minimum, because you got to swing, get the force, and then attack with the. Then the Conceal will be untapped. So yeah, even a turn 3 Po would be really good. Yeah, I think just like one more non-force user option to cheat out early would be good. Po is probably the best one that I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah, that's about it. Obviously, I recommend people play the deck, try it, see what they like, see what they don't like. If you're expecting more space aggro, just put in more bombing runs, more Jedi interceptors. Grenade strike's good against Vader. I didn't play against any Vader, obviously. Everything has a place. There's so much good stuff in Red Green Hero. It's hard to just like nail down exactly what. Like I said, if you want more redundancy against control, bring in home ones. Start cycling stuff back. Even Tranquility would be good if you're getting milled out. Tranquility cycles pretty much everything in the deck is Republic except for Hu Yang and Maz and the Red 5. That's another good thing about Luminous Beings as well. Against control, you can stretch your deck by another up to 6 cards if they're trying to mill you. Because obviously Luminous Beings puts the cards back on the bottom of your deck, so it just gives you a little bit more reach against control if they're trying to go for the mill plan as well. But yeah, no, on the day, I don't think I would have changed anything. Just need to play better. But in general, yeah, bring in like Po or something as just another non-force user thing to cheat out early.
Is this your guy? Like, are you running this deck like ride or die for a while here? Try to see how far you can stretch this thing, or are you more of like a, try something else kind of guy?
No, definitely try something else. We've also got no PQs nearby for the rest of the set now. The nearest PQ to us was yesterday in Sydney, which is either a 12-hour drive or like a $400+ trip to get there. Travel within Australia is not cheap. It's a big place and there's nothing between cities. So no, I haven't got any more PQs for the rest of the set. So it'll just be store showdowns. I probably won't take Kit anymore just because I'll play a bunch of other things. I'm working on like Cal Blue next. Will probably be one of my showdown decks. Axe Woves with the forces with me, swings for 8. It's pretty good. So yeah, no, I probably won't go with Kit anymore. Not that I think it's a bad deck by any means, just there's other things I want to try out. And like I said, there's no big events coming up until next set's PQs. It'll just be store showdowns from here. If anyone from FFG is watching, please give us more events.
Any other tips you have for new players trying out this deck?
Get used to playing under curve so you can use Kit's ability. I know it's like really tempting because most decks you want to play like the first few turns you just want to throw out like the biggest unit you've got. Go out of your way to test playing under curve so you can get Kit's ping and see how much value you do end up getting out of it. You'll find that you'll be able to like clean up the board a lot more than you'll expect. Playing under curve, pinging a lot more than you think you will. Make liberal use of the General's Blades and the Jedi Consular to play under curve as well. Get stuff out cheaper. Even if it's stuff like on curve, like I said, if you've got General's Blade turn 2 going into turn 3, you can key out Mundi for 2. That leaves you 2 resources left for a Force Throw and a Kit Ping, or a Kit Ping and a Sorcerer's Blast. Or you can play key out Mundi for 2 and then throw down like another Gunji, for example. Get used to playing under curve. It's obviously not the right thing to do every situation. You definitely want to play on curve sometimes. But yeah, just if you're testing out the deck, go out of your way to play under curve. Get the pings in, see where they're useful, see where they're not. Play around with what you got in your hand. There's a lot of options. The lines in this deck aren't always the most obvious thing. it really depends on like what's in your hand, what your opponent's doing. Should I ping? Should I not ping? 2 damage is a lot. It stacks up really quickly. So that'd be my advice: is when you first start out, play undercurve a lot just to force yourself to ping and see where it takes you.
Yeah, the Sorcerer's Blast is an interesting card. I don't know. I don't see this one all the time, so.
Yeah, it's probably the weakest card in the deck. Obviously, having to use the force for it is not ideal. You want to be like saving your force for Mace, Mundi, and Yoda, and the lightsabers, obviously. But I mean, it's really hard to turn down 3 damage for 1 resource. Like when it works really well. It's also another good option against space units. Obviously, if you don't see your Anakin's, your Red 5, or your Aether Sprites, the Sorcerer's Blast gives you another option, especially against pilot leaders. Like Sorcerer's Blast plus Kit Ping is 5 damage for 2 resources. What else can do 5 damage for 2 resources outside of Force Choke, and that doesn't even hit vehicles. So yeah, it's good. Like I said, it's probably the weakest card in the deck, but it's not bad by any means. That's definitely a flex slot you could throw in whatever. Maybe swap that out for the Poe Damerons, for example. Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Cool.
Sweet. Anything else for our guest, Rufus?
That's all my questions. Do you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think this was very thorough, very informative. I think the viewer can pick up this deck and sleeve it up and give it a go and have some success. Sounds like Rufus was trying it out and doing good with it. So, yeah, it's a good idea and good execution. And you've been a good guest. Like I said, your memory's super good, and you're more coherent than we are, and it's great. You're awesome.
No, thanks for inviting me. When I got the Discord message, I was like, yeah, this is really cool. I haven't been interviewed before, but yeah, no, I'm excited to be here. It's good deck, good fun. Definitely try it out.
Well, we're hoping
it is a solid deck. I played like 7 games with it. I think I went 6-1.
Nice.
It was fun. I underestimated like how good that 2 damage ping actually is.
Yeah, it's strong,
especially when you have like Red 5.
Yeah. Just you clear up so much stuff. You're like, daring raid every turn. How do you say no?
Well, we're hoping to see you next PQ season. Hopefully, you can get there with the rogue deck again. And make
Absolutely,
it on,
I don't think I've played a meta deck at a big event ever. So I'll bring something spicy next time too.
All right. Let us know if you do and you want to come on back, and also let us know if you see any other rogue decks out there doing well.
Absolutely.
We could say that to the viewer too. If you guys hear of any any decks that you think would make sense for this show, definitely reach out to us. All right. So again, thank you to the guest, and if you guys made it this far, you are my hero.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.